pretty critical of it.
No, I'm not hearing it or seeing it.
Ah, good deal. Let me turn the pure signal off and just see what it looks like, because that'll be like if I'm running the 940 or the 890, it would look like this. Did it get really dirty?
It's there, but it's way down.
Talk.
Yeah, because I'm curious. I want to be able to run it with, other radios, obviously, and not have a bunch of crap in there, but pure signal's off right now.
Still pretty darn good.
A little on the upper side, but give me a little bit more talk, and I'll just try to make a measurement of it here.
Okay, all right, good deal. Yeah, this is running about 1,500 watts, and that's pretty much maxing out the power supply on this amplifier. For some reason, on this band, it's taking a lot more current than it does on other bands. The output power is the same on all the bands based on the drive, a given drive. But for some reason, the current is much higher on 80. So, it'll do about 1,800 watts if I kick the drive up. But anyway, that's all with pure signal off, and I'm going to... That's not happy now. Pure signal's not happy. Hang on. All right, we'll see. There it goes. Now pure signal's on, so it, maybe is a little bit cleaner.
It's working.
Yeah, the upper side stuff was about 30 dB down without it on, and with it on, I'd say it's at least another 10 dB down.
Yeah.
That's about what I was getting on the Spectrum Analyzer software that I'm using with SDR Play. So, yeah, not too bad. Not as good as the Alpha, but I guess that's to be expected.
When I went to the upper side to listen, Jeff, I couldn't even hear you with pure signal on.
Oh, good deal.
It'll never blow a tube.
Yeah.
That's true. Won't blow a tube, but I could blow a device.
Yeah,
It's hard to do.
As far as the current, I don't know if you can operate it with the cover off and get in there, but you can put your finger in there during standby and see what's getting hot or warmer, and that would be a clue as to what might not be happy in the low pass filter or other components in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's kind of hard to have the top off when I'm operating because it's got a pressurized cabinet, and it's not going to get airflow through the heat sink if I do that. But when I was measuring and calibrating the amp meter and all that crap, I just had the thing sitting here with a big fan blowing backwards through the heat sink into the cabinet when I was doing those tests. So I could do it that way.
Okay, yeah, I saw how that is configured. Is it cooling okay with the power supply in there too?
Not bad. I mean, it just got up to 40 C, and the fan just came on high power. And when I ramble on, it'll do that. But the most I've seen, the highest temp it got up to was 50, and that was on sideband yesterday with Steve. And we went talking for an hour nonstop, and the Anon was very hot. It was like 120, and so I was doing a lot of transmitting, and it does go up, Michael. So I don't know, on AM I'll have to see. I'm going to run a lot lower carrier, but I'm suspecting if I was a big AM guy, I'd be pulling the power supply out and putting 4 little fans in there.
Yeah, I forgot what I wanted to say now.
Jeff, does that front panel monitor the heat?
Yeah, it's got a little display that shows that.
Can you change it from centigrade to Fahrenheit?
No, he said I could, but I couldn't find a way to do it, so.
I was just curious.
For heatsink, the heatsink temperature, I think in centigrade, but I've been CAD capturing what what I'm going to be doing here when all of my stuff comes. How long did it take him to put all that together for you?
Oh, golly. Let me think. I think I paid him on the beginning of December. And they shipped it out, I think, in February beginning. So, just over a month.
Okay, that isn't so bad. Great.
Yeah, congratulations, Jeff. Good job.
Very good job.
The job was to Onder and to you guys who helped me, because I had no clue, man. I was not confident I could pull this off. But with all the work Onder did, he basically built the whole damn thing, all the machining. My part was very simple and not a big deal.
And your next one will be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very good.
Roadblock, thinking is this too much?
Don't feel
Sounds
that way
very
on your
good,
next
Jeff.
one.
Yeah, I thought about it, and now we got to think of what to do with the Alpha. I am going to take and turn the, like I was telling you, Chris, I fiddled with the screen voltage and jacking the bias way up on the Alpha, and I wonder if that's why it was faulting out. So I'm going to turn that back and probably run that for a while with the 940, and I might pedal it. And if I pedal the Alpha, then I would want to build a single pallet, some little amp that I could call a backup amp.
Yeah, sure.
You not hearing any difference in the audio at all?
All excited about what you're doing here, and Ted captured the board dimensions that you sent me and pushing it around on the CAD system, and I'm to the point where I actually have to have the actual boards to very accurately measure everything and to do the hole patterns for everything that I'm putting into the cabinet. I'm keeping my power supply outside though.
Yeah, I don't know about, you mentioned a shorter cabinet. I don't know, Michael. I don't think that it would fit, even if you changed those standoffs. I mean, you would be dangerously close, I think, to having, those round things that look like a donut touching the top of the cabinet.
Yeah, I'm going with this taller cabinet for sure, but what I am doing is that I'm putting in cross pieces, 3/8 square stock to support the heatsink and what's on it, and then 2 more to support a shelf with the low pass filter on it. And I'm extending the shelf out beyond the filter, and in order to be able to put other components up there.
Gotcha. One other thing that I was a little concerned about was that there's no little RF shield anywhere in the amp. So they're like Chris, I think on yours, and Michael and everybody else's pictures of like some little thin that's separating the DC side from the other, and it's not there, man. It's just that power supply is just laying down in there, and there's no sort of shielding, I guess, and I don't know what that might affect, but I asked Onder, and he says, nah, you don't need to worry about that.
Well, the power supply itself is in a shielded enclosure. The concern that I have or had, and that is that the low pass filter is sitting right down over the transmitter itself, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to put a shelf in there.
Gotcha. N8RWS.
W9 AM.
WR6G.
And U9N.
KX90.
WB9ECK.
I'm also putting one in where you have your power supply that's mounted on the same rails that I am supporting the heatsink with. W9AM.
Jeff, what does your amp view look like?
Oh yeah, it's yeah. Just a second, I'll check it, but it looked not so sweet, I don't think. Well, actually, no, I don't know. It looks like a fish trying to swim down, the tail, and then it gets big and fat. And between the red line and the blue is like a bunch of dots, a whole bunch of dots, and it's moving constantly when I talk. But I would say between the red and the blue is one square worth of width, which doesn't that mean it's really having a hell of a time to try to compensate?
Yeah,
Actually,
it should
that
be.
isn't too bad.
It should look like a propeller.
Oh, a propeller? You mean like a propeller on just one side of a propeller? Because that's what it does look like, actually, but it doesn't look like both sides of it.
Yeah, the two lines should intersect as close to the center as possible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then go the opposite way. Yeah, it's not at all. Oh, yeah, that other side, the other side of the propellers is off the screen. I wonder what it would look like without the amp on. Let's see what it does without the amp on. It's doing the same thing, Christopher, only the propeller blade on the one side is not as big.
Okay, so it's just repeating what it's being fed.
Yeah, and I did go. Oh, now it's all messed up until it's not. Yeah, it's not happy now. I just turned pure signal back on.
The other thing you can do is to cut back on the drive power some. Go down to 20% on your drive power and just see how it changes.
Yeah, right now it's starting. There it goes. Now it's correcting sort of again. But yeah, it takes a while to get it in sync. And the way that I'm introducing the feedback from the sampler on the back of the amp, into the Anon is not ideal. And the way I should do it is I should actually wire in a port that would completely disconnect the receive signal path during transmit by using a relay and only feed it sample from the amp, and that way the crosstalk is not competing. The internal crosstalk is not competing with my signal, because right now I can see it's just it's struggling to maintain its its linearity, but it seems to be working.
Yeah, those are just the fine details, the little bugs to work out. But what you're doing right now, it sounds beautiful and it looks great. So I think you're fine.
Good deal. Well, I hope it does the same though. When I run it with the other radios, and so we'll see how that goes. As long as it's not obnoxiously crappy on IMD, I'll be happy.
Oh, it isn't. It's fine.
Yeah, I see the pure signal trying to let go a little bit here and there, but you'll get that when you get that stuff corrected.
Why do you want to run it with other radios, Jeff?
Like Chris yours and Michael's, the 7000s. I mean, how is that port on the back of the thing for pure signal? Do they have like a relay in there that's disconnecting the internal receive path and only using one feed by an SMA or something going into the back of the Anon?
Yeah, mine's just a BNC.
There's an option in the Thetis
that it comes off
disconnect
the
it from
sampler.
internal and to only look at one of the external BNC connectors.
Okay, so I see you guys both doubled, Michael and Chris. So there must be a relay internal to the radio, or a set of relays. And is my thinking correct? That's completely disconnecting the receive path, and it's only taking your sample during transmit, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Okay, see, I'm trying to shove my internal receive path is still there, as well as the BNC connector on the back. I use the what is it, the auxiliary, I think, or external EXT1 is what I use. So right now I'm shoving both in there, and that's why I think it's struggling.
No, I mean, it's not struggling hard or anything. It's locked in pretty darn nice.
Oh, that's good.
very. I mean, it's it's way down. You're almost flatlined on either side of your signal. Well, you are pretty much really.
Oh, that's good.
If it was me, I would set the other, your 940 up with a tube amp, set it up on another table in another room or on the other side or out in the garage, or I would just make that a complete different station.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, Bob. Have it here, but have it connected to the alpha.
Yeah, I wouldn't be hooking a bunch of different radios up to the solid state. I just myself personally, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to run both of them if I could, if it's clean enough. I did turn the 940 on, and I talked to Onder and Steve, and they said with the pad I got in here, there should be no problem. Even if the thing hits a 70-watt peak, which it does, the 940 does. I mean, I was driving this with 70 watts, on the Anon, and it's not an issue because of the big fat pad. So at some point I think I will try the 940. I just I don't want to use it though if it's dirty.
Yeah, it'll put most of that into the heat sink anyway.
I'm just spoiled by
what I would do is to cut back on the drive from your Banan. Go back to say 30 watts or so, and then take out some of that pad so your Banan doesn't get hot on you.
Ah, because you're right, Michael. It gets really hot. I was talking to Steve nonstop yesterday for that hour, and it was up to 120. So, it's not happy running this much output.
What is your
still
drive?
No big deal.
Yeah, right now the Anon is 103 at the heat sink, and my drive is 50 watts right now.
I run mine on at 75, Jeff, and I never feel it get hot.
Oh, really? I think you must have a better cooling fan or something. Of course, you don't. John, you're not like me. You don't just blabber on endlessly, forever and ever, so.
Well, everybody sure is excited over your new toy, Jeff.
Ah, yeah, me too. I'm so delighted that it hasn't blown up yet, and hopefully it won't.
Yeah, it's working good and it looks great too.
I'm so happy I got him to do all this machining. I think what $140 for him to do all the machining and all the funny little the sub-assembling that he did.
It's a pretty good deal.
I think so. Well, I would have been working. I could have never pulled off this kind of work. I mean, you guys have that talent, Chris. You can do that kind of metal stuff, and so does Steve and Michael. Everybody, not me.
Oh, anybody that can take an engine apart and put it back together with her eyes closed drinking beer could do it.
Boy, especially a Subi engine, man, those things they look pretty complex.
Right.
I agree. If I would have started, metal work and stuff like you guys can do when I started building the engines, you're right, I could do it. But now in this stage of my life, I'm looking at, it would just, I don't know, buying the equipment would have been tough.
Enclosure is one of the most difficult things about homebrewing.
I think so.
I just had so many years as an electrician, building control panels that I just, it's one of those things you just don't even think about it.
You've probably worked with a lot of Hoffman cabinets.
A lot of them, Bob. Big ones, little ones.
Yeah.
N8RWS.
WR6G. Jeff, I'm happy for you. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Yep, I'm very pleased.
B9ECK.
And U9N.
U9A, yeah.
I got to run up and get my last cup of coffee, so I'll be back in a Scotia.
Jeff, before you go, did you have to do any calibration on the display unit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was scary because the current was way off, Christopher, and so was the watt meter. The watt meter was reading double. So here I am. I'm like I got it set up and I'm giving it 3 watts a drive or 4 watts a drive, and it's up at 800 watts out, and I'm thinking, oh wow, this is pretty good, and I'm like increasing the drive, and then I'm up to like 2,000 watts, and it's shutting off, and I'm like, gosh, what's going on? And then I looked at the bird watt meter, and it was reading half of what the display in this amp was reading. So I shut it off, and I asked Onder, I said, hey, I just want to make sure. I'm seeing 2 things. I'm seeing really high current, and I'm seeing, it's tripping on current, and it's tripping on wattage. So he said, yeah, you got to calibrate those, and so I did, and now it's right in line with where it needs to be.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I could I could see where that would have scared you a little bit. All right, good deal.
I was scared the hell out of me. I pushed the button to turn it on, and nothing happened. And I heard like a tick, and I was trying to decide, is this something frying? It was more of a relay tick, and so I waited, and then suddenly it came to life.
Yeah, I love the video when you push the button and you kind of went, oh.
Oh, that was very unsettling. Because wiring that switch ended up being, to me, a daunting thing. I said, I don't know how to do this. And I asked Onder, and he gave me real quick bullet points that I thought I followed pretty good. But, when you push the button and nothing happens, it's like, oh, wow, you're waiting for the explosion.
Yeah, sounds like he has good support. That's great.
Oh, yeah. He was, that first night I had this on the air, I mean, geez, I think I was talking to him till 2 or 3 in the morning, and, and I felt bad, but he kept saying, no, I want you to do this. Nope, I want you to do this. And he was very, very, attentive and was pulling pulling info from me and then giving me feedback.
Yeah, great.
I'll be back. N8RWS.
Okay, WR6G.
Awesome. W9 AM.
Well, guys, I got to get my ass to work. It was great talking with you all, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. KX9D, have a good day.
All right, Darren, catch you later. Have a great day.
See you, Darren.
Yeah, have a good one.
Darren.
We'll let him piss you off.
See you, Darren.
My garage kitty is sticking tight in the garage here today.
Sounds like he's starting to really like that.
Well, he does his own thing, but I'm guessing it's mating season right now, so the toms are all beating the crap out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a feeling that he was, he's been out on a bender. He's just recouping. Let him in the house last night. He knew it was too warm for him. He didn't want in the house. So I let him back out again. He likes being in the garage. That's his turf.
Sooner or later, Bob, I think he's going to warm up to you.
I don't know. We'll see. I'd like that, but I just let him have whatever he wants.
I just watched a YouTube video yesterday, as a matter of fact, where this gal found a feral kitten under her porch, and this thing was mean. I mean, just snarling like crazy. And she grabbed this thing. And in fact, she had to put gloves on. This thing was trying to claw her so bad and bite her and everything else. And she put on some gloves and wrapped it in a blanket and just tended to it for about a half an hour. And then force-fed this cat with a little eyedropper, and just kept doing that every single day. And you know what? By the end of the week, and it took a full week of her, trying to get this cat to warm up to her. And after about a week, this cat finally broke and started trusting her. And from that point on, this little kitten just loved everybody. But it took her hours a day to do that.
Yeah, lots of dedication.
Oh yeah.
Wow, even as a little kitten, it was mean like that, huh?
Oh yeah, and it had never seen humans before.
It's their instinct.
Yeah, we've had many kittens out here like that. They get to a certain age and they just get really mean, yeah, when they see humans the first time.
Yeah.
Cats are different than dogs, just different.
Totally.
Oh yeah, boy, completely.
I gotta call the LP guy today.
You low on gas?
Oh, it's at about 35. I like to call them right about then.
Yep.
It takes them a while. Sometimes they lose the order. Sometimes the company changed hands here a couple years back, and man, the service just went away.
Yeah.
The people that they had just about everybody that worked there had been there for 20 or more years. So you had a dedicated staff that really, and the company sold out and they fired everybody and they brought all their own people in, and it's just no damn different than any other place now.
Yeah, that's what we like about our current gas company. They know every customer personally and know their needs, and they're always out here, before our tank ever gets too low. They just know our pattern.
I gotta rig it so they can get in and out of here. This half-mile long dirt driveway is tricky.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times when they wouldn't be able to get in and out of here, and like I said, the old people, the old owners and stuff, they knew when I called when when my driveway was the most navigable. Is that the right word? And these other people just figure, well, they just treat me the same as if I lived right up on the road.
Jack was saying he ran out of propane and about froze to death.
Who, me?
No, Jack.
Oh.
I guess he has some kind of sending unit on it or something that lets the company know when it's getting low. And it was turned off, and they completely ran out. And he said, I think it was 48 degrees in their house.
Oh, gee.
I watched the tank pretty close.
I think that was during that, that cold spell we had.